Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, a legal opinion from Arizona's Attorney General impacts voting next year. Two local groups are awarded a federal grant to help accelerate local manufacturing and job creation. And we'll hear about a local charity that provides shelter to victims of child abuse. Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. Arizona Attorney General Tom Horne today issued a legal opinion that impacts how people can vote next year. The opinion states that Arizonans who register to vote using a federal form will only be able to vote in federal elections. Those who register using a state form will be allowed to vote in all elections. Horne's legal opinion comes after a U.S. Supreme Court ruling that prohibits Arizona from changing federal registration guidelines to include state requirements regarding proof of citizenship. Phoenix Attorney Joe Canfield, a former elections director for Arizona, joins us now to discuss the issue. It's good to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Ted.
Was this a surprise, this opinion?
No, not necessarily, because after the U.S. Supreme Court opinion a while back, we expected that there would be some questions remaining. The court said that the state could not refuse to accept federal forms, the federal form used by folks to register, but left open the question of what happens when people use that form who don't comply with Arizona's registration requirements, which include providing evidence of United States citizenship when registering to vote.
So that basically is what the opinion is saying. It's saying you can vote, but you can only vote federal, you can't vote state.
Yes, except only for those individuals that registered using the federal form that didn't provide evidence of U.S. citizenship. And that's a very small number of people, and can't emphasize that enough, that when we talk about two registration systems here, we don't want anyone to believe that that means that half the people are going to be registered only for federal elections and half are for state and local elections. It's really about 99% of the people, including those that register using the state form and those that register using the federal form, are able to provide evidence of citizenship and meet the requirements. It's only a small percentage of people that use the federal form. The numbers I have are less than 1% of the people register using the federal form, and of that, less than 10% of those individuals were unable or did not provide evidence of U.S. citizenship. So, small fraction of people that this impacts. It's not creating a major new registration system.
And we should mention on those federal forms, you are told under penalty of perjury as far as saying that you are indeed a citizen. So it's not like it's scot-free there and you just write whatever you want to write. They are noted that there would be a penalty here.
That's right, yes. So when they do sign the form, they do attest that they are, in fact, U.S. citizens.
It sounds from a distance here that this has got court challenge written all over it, because basically the Attorney General is preventing registered voters from voting.
Well, the Attorney General himself points out that there have been challenges in other jurisdictions, not Arizona, where states have created two systems of registration. But he also notes that in all those challenges, they didn't involve a situation quite like we have here, where we have an evidence-based requirement for people who register to show citizenship. And if they use this federal form and they're not able to provide it because they haven't been instructed by the federal officials as to what Arizona's specific requirements are, then we would still let them vote, because the federal law very clearly says that those individuals using that form have to be allowed to vote in the federal election. But it doesn't say, and no court has said, that you must allow them to vote in the state and local elections. So this is a unique question, not that it won't be challenged, but it would be one of first impression.
And indeed, if it is challenged, that'll be the second plate spinning here, because we already have another challenge regarding the U.S. Elections Commission, I think along with Kansas, correct?
Correct. So the Attorney General and the Secretary of State both brought a challenge against the Election Assistance Commission. That's the federal agency that is charged with implementing and the federal form. And the specific lawsuit deals with the federal government and this specific commission's failure to instruct Arizona voters who use the federal form about Arizona's specific requirements. So this is in the nature of what we call mandamus action, an action to compel them to do what's required, because in the U.S. Supreme Court's opinion on this subject, the court very specifically said that states get to get to set the qualifications for their voters. And the federal government can't change that. And the fact that a state may require you to prove that you've met those qualifications is a right enjoyed by the state. So there's a little bit of a disconnect because the federal officials, you have to use this, allow people to use this form, but the federal officials won't instruct Arizona voters using it about their specific requirements. So that's what that lawsuit is about. And if the court rules in favor of the state of Arizona, the state of Kansas, then really a lot of what is in this opinion is not relevant.
Indeed. But back to the opinion, how much does it change things logistically? Is it doable? Can it be doable in time for next year's elections? What are you hearing from elections officials?
Absolutely. And I talked to state and local election officials today to get a sense for what they're thinking. As a former state election official myself, I know these kinds of things are creating a tremendous amount of work. The feedback that I heard was that this wasn't unexpected, and that they are ready to do this. It will be quite a bit of work. Like for Maricopa County example, there are 3,500 different ballot styles, if you think about it, with all the different precincts and the different parties. So that means that there's going to be 7,000 ballot styles. You double that number, because they're going to have one ballot, which is federal candidates for these people that used the federal form but didn't provide evidence of citizenship, and then a different ballot style for everyone else. But they say they can do it.
If they can do it, how much is it going to cost?
That I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
It's going to increase costs, that's for sure.
A last question before you go. The whole idea of non-citizens trying to vote, which is what this addresses, how much of a problem is that?
I don't think it's a major problem, frankly. But I do think that the state of Arizona and the citizens who passed Proposition 200 in 2004 overwhelmingly have every right to put procedures and laws in place to guard against any abuse of the elective franchise. And if it means providing evidence of citizenship when registering or identification at the polls, the voters spoke pretty clearly. They're okay with those requirements, even though I think we recognize that it's not a huge problem, which is a good thing. It means the system is working, the laws are working to prevent that kind of fraud from occurring.
And yet I can hear critics now saying this makes voting more difficult, and by making it more difficult, it's not making it easier.
Yeah, I don't agree. I think that, like I said, this is a fraction of a percent of the voters that register to vote in Arizona. Most voters can use their driver license number to provide evidence of citizenship. Those that don't have a driver's license, there's other ways of establishing your citizenship, and the election officials have bent over backwards to put procedures in place that enable everyone to provide the evidence and the proof that they need to become properly registered to vote.
Joe, thank you very much.
Thanks, Ted.
Get the inside scoop on what's happening at Arizona PBS. Become an 8 Insider. You'll receive weekly updates on the most anticipated upcoming programs and events. Get the 8 Insider delivered to your email inbox. Visit azpbs.org to sign up today.
ASU and the Greater Phoenix Economic Council were recently awarded a grant from the U.S. Department of Commerce to accelerate local job creation by developing an innovation and commercialization center for advanced manufacturing in the Phoenix area. GPEC President and CEO Barry Broom and Setaraman Panchanathan, Senior Vice President for ASU's Office of Knowledge Enterprise Development, both joining me now to discuss the grant and this planned manufacturing center. Good to have you both here.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Investing in Manufacturing Communities Partnership. Talk to me about this grant here.
Well, the federal government's trying to promote an interface between industry and universities, and that's been a big objective of GPEC over the last 2 years, to create the interface between ASU's technical capabilities, their engineering school, Polytechnic, their other assets, into the economy. And this specifically will focus on building capabilities. We have over 3,000 manufacturers in the Valley, not just Intel, Boeing, and Honeywell, but build on the ability to create new technologies like sensor technologies, an improved deliverable of talent, and hopefully build and create new commercial ideas among the manufacturing sector to keep them current and to move them to an advanced state. We're already, of the top 100 metros, we're the 16th most advanced manufacturing market in the U.S. today.
And are we talking mostly high-tech here, or all kinds of manufacturing?
So primarily high-tech, I would say, because if you look at our history, so we have been very good in the area of semiconductor manufacturing in the aerospace defense area, precision control instrumentation, etc. So if you look at how we position ourselves using the assets that we already have in the region, and how do you now take it to the next level? So I'll give you one example. At ASU, we have been advancing this concept of flexible electronics with our flexible display center, using the investments that Army made for designing situational awareness-based displays for soldiers in the battlefield. And so this is a technology that we are very, very advanced in this region, and we can be a national and a global leader in this area. So that is an advanced manufacturing concept for you, which can be used in health applications, in energy applications, things of that nature, where we can be a global leader.
So we've got those ideas out there, the flexible display. We've actually done stories on that. That's been out there for a while. These things are developing. What does $170,000 some odd dollars here, what does that pay for?
Basically pays for our ability to build the plan. So the center will be a public-private partnership between GPEC and Arizona State University. It'll focus on the development of new technologies. It'll be a commercialization center, so there'll be a network of manufacturers that'll be able to go someplace to have their products tested from a prototyping standpoint. But also at ASU, we'll be able to build intellectual property strategies and be able to build technology platforms for these companies, help these companies understand how to develop their new ideas, but also capture them so they can protect those ideas, take them to the marketplace, and grow their business.
Do we know where this is going to be located? Have you gotten that far along in the plan yet?
We don't. We do have a published criteria, so when this gets rolled out, there'll be a published criteria on how to site the center. But right now, the most important thing for us is to be able to start to put an aggressive move on creating more innovation inside this manufacturing base. Semiconductor has gone from nearly 100,000 jobs to 19,000 jobs in the Valley. We have sequestration, which continues to put very serious threats on our aerospace defense base. And from an economic perspective, in the last 25 years, about 9% of our growth has been in the advanced manufacturing sector. 85% of our job growth is in consumption, and that is a serious sustainability problem we have to take more aggressive actions to address.
So what are you hearing from startups, from folks in the high-tech manufacturing arena? What do they need?
So for example, if you look at one of the needs that they have is, how do you take an idea and prototype it in the fastest possible manner, right? So we are now developing this concept of a maker central area in Chandler, for example. That's one example of how you can have people who want to try out their ideas, prototype their ideas, can come in and use some of the facilities that we have to be able to quickly turn their idea into a product, test the product, and see how the marketplace reacts to that kind of a product. So we have multiple levels of engagement at the university. One is, how do you get students trained in this new knowledge economy, in these ideas of advanced manufacturing? How do you make students prepared for that kind of a future, right? That's one thing. Mm-hmm. How do you take the assets of the university, as Barry has been saying, the assets of the university in terms of the intellectual breadth that we have got, as well as the depth in areas like flexible electronics, in supply chain, and so on? How do you connect it to this advanced manufacturing economy and make it something that the university can be a very strong partner in the region?
Is there a model out there that you're looking at, or is this is kind of starting ground up and seeing where we're going from here?
Well, it's a long time ago, but there was a group called CAMP, which was a Cleveland area manufacturing program that was connected to Case Western Reserve, which is a very competent engineering school. And it was doing everything from helping manufacturers move the lean process as well as developing new technologies. And I thought it was a very successful program, and it was modeled throughout the Midwest. So that gives us a little bit of a feel for for, I think, what this center could look like.
Is this a way, and you mentioned that we're seeing some problems out there in the economy in a wide variety of ways. Is this a way, though, for Arizona to lead, or is it a way for us to play catch-up?
Well, we're kind of in both those spots. There's still a tremendous amount of legacy talent here in manufacturing left over from Motorola. There's a lot of ex-Intel people in the marketplace running, companies with 50 to 100 employees. So I think we actually have a chance to capture a high-tech manufacturing position in the Mountain West. We do have to play a little bit of catch-up from our previous position in the country and the world, but I think we're well positioned to do this.
And I asked whether there was a model, something to look back on. As far as the university is concerned, Case Western notwithstanding, anything else out there that you're saying they're doing a good job at this?
So let's take Georgia Tech, for example. They do a good job in the Georgia area, in the Atlanta area, for example, the greater Atlanta area. Mm-hmm. I think ASU is a world-class place. It's by all ranking metrics, by all impact metrics, we know that ASU is recognized as a leader in entrepreneurship, in innovation, in research, and in training and education of students. So now it's time for us to see how we can, working collaboratively with GPEC and other economic development agencies, ACA and others, to see how we can make this an economic engine for the economic development and the economic future of Arizona. So that's what we are very focused on at ASU, is how can we be a leader as a university, but also a partner in making Arizona a leader in the innovation economy.
Now, one of the things that's really important, though, is in one single appropriation from the Georgia legislature, Georgia Tech's engineering school is double the size of Arizona State. So one of the conversations we've been having in the community is, how can we be world class if Arizona State University Engineering is half the size of Georgia Tech or half the size of Stanford? So ultimately, we're going to have to find another way to organize public investment into Arizona State, specifically in this engineering objective, to get ASU engineering at the caliber of Georgia Tech, at the caliber of Stanford, in order for us to take a model like this from prototype to scale.
Well, it sounds like it's time to get serious then. Good to have you both here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Ted. Thank you for having us here.
Tonight's edition of Arizona Giving and Leading focuses on Crisis Nursery, a Phoenix-based shelter that serves children suffering from abuse, neglect, homelessness. Crisis Nursery also operates Head Start and foster care programs. Joining us now is Marcia Porter, Executive Director of Crisis Nursery. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for the opportunity, Ted.
Give me a better definition of Crisis Nursery.
Our mission is breaking the cycle of child abuse and neglect, and we do that in a variety of ways, really starting where the family's at. So we see children in crisis that have been removed from their families due to abuse and neglect, or whose parents are just overwhelmed and might place them at our shelter, or a child comes into one of our foster homes. But we're also on the prevention side. We're child welfare agencies, so we're dealing with at-risk families, but we really are trying to help them early on overcome some of the challenges they're facing and get their kids ready to succeed, have families make goals for themselves that they can achieve. So our early Head Start and preschool program kind of do that, and then on the back end, our shelter and our foster care are really dealing with kids that have already been traumatized, really giving them a chance to heal, opportunities to succeed, and really a second chance at childhood.
Crisis Nursery, the name here, but what kind of crises are you seeing? And are these situations changing over time, which means you need to change in terms of services and what you're offering?
It's exactly what we've done. Child abuse and neglect are the main issues that face many of the families, but those are compounded by poverty and sometimes caused by poverty, substance abuse, domestic violence. So we're dealing with powder keg situations where at the same point in time, parents really want to do the best they can. And so if at all possible, we can reach those families voluntarily. Before the state, CPS needs to get involved. And we all know how overburdened and overwhelmed they are. If we can reach parents at a time when there is potential for abuse or neglect, but it hasn't occurred yet, we've really found them very receptive to looking at ways to better parent and plan for their families.
Have they been receptive? Because I would think going to a family and saying, you know, we got some counseling, we have some referrals here, we have some connections for you, we see that there might be a problem, it would seem to me like you'd have a lot of families going, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that all parents, most parents, really want to be the best parents they can. Many of them weren't parented themselves, don't really have the tools and resources they need. So if we can serve as a navigator for them, they love their kids. Many times they've done some fairly heinous things to their kids out of ignorance, out of stress, out of anger. But I haven't yet met a parent that really didn't want to be a good parent. Many of them don't have the tools and resources they need.
After they get the tools and the resources and the services that you offer, talk to us about that process. Are we talking long-term, short-term, or just whatever gets the job done?
Whatever gets the job done. I think that's what we're able to be fairly flexible. We deal with the parents where they're at and what the issues are. In our early Head Start and foster care programs, many times children will stay with us for years. In our shelters, sometimes it's just a day or two for a parent that's just overwhelmed to get back into, get stuff together, have crisis averted. So we will work individually with each parent based upon what the need of the child and their families are.
You mentioned foster families. I would imagine some of those foster families need some counseling too.
They're really unbelievable people.
Yes.
Imagine opening not only your heart but your home to children that you know very little about, and it is disruptive. So we have families, foster specialists that work really closely with families, help them advocate not only for services for that particular child or sibling group, but also for the family itself. Introducing a new 1, 2, or 3 children in the middle of the night sometimes is going to cause trauma in that family as well.
Indeed, but those are amazing families,
Oh,
aren't
they're
they?
phenomenal.
Yeah. You talk about breaking the chain of child abuse. What is the biggest challenge in that getting done? Is there something out there more than anything else that you see is the biggest hindrance of breaking that chain?
I think hopelessness. I think that we see a lot of families that generationally have lived in poverty, don't see a way up, and I think helping them connect to the resources that are available. Our community safety net has pretty much dismantled. And so many times it really requires a pretty skilled person to try to connect them with what still exists. But I think hopelessness is probably the biggest challenge these families face.
How do you deal with that then?
Directly, and basically figure out step by step. I mean, them getting, a house might not be an achievable goal in the next year or 2 years, but them getting a job, even if it's 10 hours a week, or them getting childcare for their children, if you can take it step by step and they can see progress, which many of them have never seen in their lives, that's their second chance.
And that is the family, but the bottom line is the kid.
Right.
And reuniting with the birth family would obviously be the goal you're looking for here, but a lot of times that can't happen, can it?
Right. Well, our ultimate goal is to never have them have to be removed.
Indeed.
But when they have been, reunification is. Some families can't be reunified. And for those children that we are really looking for permanency as expeditiously and fairly to the parents, but as expeditiously for that child as we can. And we see that in our foster care. I think Arizona's foster care system now, about 50% of the children exiting are returning home. Another 50% are going to adoption or permanent placements with relatives.
So in terms of what obviously donations, money and time are important. I would imagine time is very important, isn't it?
Without our community volunteers, we could not provide the breadth of services we do. We have an amazing group of volunteers, not only that care for our kids, but that fundraise for us, that serve on our board. So at any point in time, we have about 250 active volunteers. We could not do what we do without them.
So how can folks get involved?
Get on our website. You can find out how to donate. You can find out how to volunteer. You can find out about how to attend one of our benefit events that benefit Crisis Nursery.
CrisisNursery.org. Good to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us. And that is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
Virginia G. Piper Charitable Trust. Committed to changing lives and strengthening community through investments in nonprofits and strategic initiatives. More information at pipertrust.org.